Hey guys, and welcome to Monday. I am about to leave. I have to go to the store and get some stuff and go give the rent to a landlord because, I mean, they don't really care if I wait a couple days to give it to them. It's just the most convenient day to do it. So I'm going to go give the rent to them right now and go home and do stuff. I have quite a lot of stuff I want to get done tonight. Stuff for all three channels, Vlog, BookTube, and the Let's Play channel. It's going to be a very busy night. Hopefully my energy levels can handle it. We just got done eating some wonderful calzones that Giselle made. I don't know, I have to laugh when I hear the word calzone. When I walked in and she was like, they're calzones, and I just laugh at that because of how much I've watched Parks and Rec. They constantly make fun of calzones on that show, like mercilessly.
It was alright. I didn't love it. It was like a 5-star meal, like middle of the road, like 5 out of 10. Like
5 out of 10, yeah, not 5-star, like 5 out of 5. It was not exactly what I expected. The cheese and the tomato, there was like cheese and tomato like kind of mixed together. I was kind of expecting more like pizza-y.
Yeah.
Innards to it.
That. I would suggest maybe instead of sticking the 6 tomatoes in, sticking about maybe half a cup or a little bit more of pasta sauce in. Half a cup to a cup of pasta sauce, and that might make it taste better.
Could be interesting. Also, she made it with whole wheat crust.
Yeah, which again wasn't my favorite, but it was okay.
You could definitely taste the whole wheatness of it.
Yeah.
A lot.
I'm sitting here holding the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society.
Can't take your hands off of it. We both finished reading it today.
Yeah, by Marianne Schaffer and Annie Barrows. It's an aunt and niece.
Yeah, the aunt was the one who started writing it.
She wrote like most of it, and then the niece just did some like edits at the end.
Well, yeah, she did a bit of edits and writing just because the aunt was starting to have health issues, and then she died, and right around when it was published, I think.
Right after it was published. So.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this book. It had a lot of praise for it when it came out.
I've been reading it for a while. I was trying to take it very slowly.
Yeah, she's just been savoring it, like marking. You should see all the marking she's made inside the book. Her favorite quotes and all that stuff.
Never marked stuff. It was just, I marked the funny stuff. I marked the poignant stuff. I marked just everything that super stood out to me, which was about half the book.
Yeah.
So I just thoroughly enjoyed it and loved it, and it's really short. It's less than 300 pages, and it would be really easy just to fly through in 1 or 2 sittings, but instead I stretched it out over like a month and a half, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I started listening to it pretty much when she did. I didn't continue with it because I was waiting for her to get to where I was. So I finished it today as well, and I really liked it a lot. We both really liked it a lot. It was a really good book.
It happens right after World War II, and so you're hearing a lot about the German occupation and stuff.
Yeah, it's the German occupation of this one little island called Guernsey. Yeah, and so the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society is just a group of people who started to talk about books during the occupation because it was something to do while the Germans were there. I liked it. I really liked the way it kind of connected World War II with the very nice and well thought out and just
it's a book
like
about
just good characters. Like the characters are just great, and like their lives are really interesting to learn about, and mixing that together is really good.
It's a book about people who come together through a love of reading and books, and how books help them through the war, and then helps them make friendships afterwards, and it's a very character driven.
Yeah.
Very, very character driven.
Yeah.
And just so beautiful. It happens over the course of like 8 months or so. It's just so witty and funny, and
it was really funny. It was really well written. Like I love the writing a lot, and
yeah, I cried a bit today while reading it. But I finished it, and I loved it, and it's the first book that I've given 5 stars to this year so far. That was not a reread.
I think I'd probably get a 4.5 just because, I mean, I loved the character-driven nature of it, and I liked the ending and like how it all went, but there are certain things I wish they had kind of went into more depth into, more detail into.
Yeah.
Although Giselle read out loud to me the afterword and the acknowledgments and stuff like that at the end. And it's kind of more understandable. Her health was going away, and even if she had wanted to expand on something in here she probably couldn't have.
Yeah.
So, like, I can kind of get over it a little bit and just enjoy it for what it is. I do wish there were some themes that were explored a little bit more, because she starts to get into these themes that are, like, really nice about just the relationships between the people on the island with the Germans, and the relationship that one specific German has with one specific character, and just there's lots of stuff that could have been more explored, but at the same time it was a really good book. But
Yeah, it was super beautiful, and I loved it, and it's now one of my favorite books of all time. I don't give out 5 stars lightly. Like, I have to really, really, really love the book and feel super strong connection with it. And especially right after finishing a book, there's so many times that I finish a book and I'll give it like 4.5 stars, and I have to think about it for a few weeks or even a few months before I give it a flat out 5 stars. I can only think of a few books that I've given a straight 5 stars to that wasn't a reread in the past like 4 years. The Help by Catherine Stockett was one of them, and Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson was one of them as well. And just like books that I just thoroughly loved when I read them.
like, I think honestly this would appeal to a lot of different readers.
I may go through and put tabs on my favorite quotes and stuff, but I'll be marking every page, so I don't know if there's a point to it. Maybe if I choose like a few of my top favorite
Maybe when
quotes.
you reread it, you could do that.
Yeah, I loved it so much, and I just feel so satisfied and happy. Like, I wish there was more. I wish there was like an epilogue or just a little novella or whatever, but with what there is, I am super satisfied. And it's really hard to read though when they were talking about like the awful things that were happening during the war. It was really hard to read. It was just, it's so sad, but I don't want to get into all the sadness because my heart can't deal anymore. So I'm just going to put this down.
Yeah, overall it was a very positive and very very happy book, and
Definitely.
a very pleasant read, and just I think a good book for readers also. I mean, we don't usually talk together at length about books very often, but we both read this one and both really liked it, so we thought we'd talk about it for a while.
When I really love a book, I usually will get Chris to read it, and then he usually ends up really either loving it or just really liking it.
Yeah, like, there's been several in the past, like A Little Princess and Ella Enchanted and this, things that I wasn't necessarily expecting to like as much as I did, and I liked them very much. And like the Howl's Moving Castle trilogy, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of books that I really like, but I know Chris won't. But if it's a book that I think will appeal to pretty much everyone, then I'll give it to Chris.
I mean,
if it's a true favorite of mine and I think it will appeal to a vast... Like, these books are just good for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that she thinks could possibly, like, touch me in the way it touched her, then, like, I totally want to read it. And, like, things that are this good, things that really get to her completely. Like, we are very similar, and, I mean, we're getting married. We obviously have something there. So, like, her stuff that she loves this much is something that I want to experience as well. So.
Yeah. I don't do the same for him, though, because he reads scary books.
I don't read all scary books. They're not scary. I don't find things scary. Whatever. I've never found a book scary. Anyway.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful book.
I'm gonna go now and get some stuff done today. We've both finally finished it.
Yay! So lately, I've been waking up just naturally around 6:30 to 8:30 a.m. every morning, which has been really interesting. So a lot of mornings I'm waking up at 7 or 7:30 and can't fall back asleep even if I would want to. And I guess in result to that, or even the days that I do sleep in a little bit later or get a nap in, I've just been getting tired so early, at least so early for me. As you guys probably remember a few months ago on the vlog, I was having a really, really tough time sleeping at nights. A lot of nights I wouldn't go to sleep at all and then would catch whatever sleep I could during the day, and yeah, just couldn't fall asleep at night. But I've been getting sleepy at like 10:30 or 11, but before midnight, and by midnight I'm like absolutely dead and just want to be asleep. And it's really strange, but really nice because it's great. My sleep schedule is fixing itself somehow. I haven't been able to easily fall asleep before midnight in years. It's been a long time, and even a few months ago, or even a few weeks ago, I was staying up till 2 or 3 a.m. a lot of nights, and yeah, and now I'm just falling asleep so easily. Well, not necessarily falling asleep easily, but getting tired so that I can turn on. What really helps me fall asleep, I've noticed, is like craft videos, like polymer clay videos are super relaxing to me, and they just help me fall asleep. I guess watching somebody make like little miniature things just help me fall asleep. I don't know, but I've discovered it, and that's been helping me fall asleep when I am actually lying in bed. Often I'll turn on maybe 3 or 4 of them, and then I'll pass out, so that's really nice. Only lay in there for 5 to 30 minutes trying to fall asleep is like nothing for me, because I've laid there for hours before trying to fall asleep. So anyway, I just thought I'd update you guys on me actually being able to sleep, and it's been just making me feel a lot better during the day. And just now I was checking my email, and there were emails. When it's from the same day, it will tell the time that it was sent, but if it's from the day before, then it will say like from yesterday. And there were like a bunch of emails from like saying times, and I wasn't really looking at the time. I just like noticed, and I was like, oh, did I get a bunch of emails like really early in the morning? I looked at the time, I'm like, it's only 11 o'clock. Like, I feel like it's 2 a.m. right now. I'm absolutely exhausted, and I just want to crash. So, anyway, that was a fun discovery that it's not 2 a.m. Instead, it's 11, and I could go to bed like a normal person and be asleep before midnight, and it might actually work. So anyway, that's my story about how I've forgotten to end the vlog like 3 times recently. I know Chris has done it some of those nights, but like I've just completely forgotten to vlog because I've been so exhausted, and then I just like pass out. And then I wake up the next morning and I'm like, shoot, I forgot to vlog. So it's been for a good reason, and for not even just like a good reason of forgetting, but like a good reason being a good thing, because sleep is important. So anyway, and I have no idea what's doing it, so I'll have to dally around with that a little bit and figuring out if it's just like my body behaving, or if it's something I'm eating or taking or whatever. Also, I've just been really into eating eggs on toast recently, just recently meaning the past couple days. This is one of my favorite foods of all time. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the mornings, and I've been liking it as like a midnight snack recently, just to make a fried egg over easy and put it on a piece of toast and eat it on top of it, and like kind of spread out the yolk. I like to keep my yolk runny, spread out the yolk a little bit, and then put some salt on top of that and then eat it. And so I've been doing that recently, and somehow I got some oil. I don't know if it was from earlier when I was cooking something, but there was oil on like the grill, and it's one of the spiral heating coils, and so the coil had some oil on it, and a bunch of smoke went up within like 30 seconds, and like I turned it off and like tried to whatever, I set the smoke alarm off. And this was just now. This was maybe 15 minutes ago, and I woke the people up and gave them a heart attack, and I feel so awful and so embarrassed. And so I figured I'd share with you guys that I was a little dummy and totally set it off, and I felt so awful, and I was afraid I was actually going to set it off again, and I'm like, how awful would that be if I set it off twice in one night? Oh my gosh. So thankfully I didn't set it off again, but I set it off, and I felt wretched. I turned it off within like 20 seconds. I got it to go out, but like that was enough time to come running down the stairs and be like, oh, thank goodness, it's just you. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. So anyway, this isn't the first time I've set it off here. I also set it off one time while making rice, and it was super embarrassing, and I burnt all the rice, and it was awful, and yeah, I felt really bad about that one too. Anyway, I think that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any embarrassing stories, please feel free to share them so that I don't feel alone, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye everyone!